Hello and welcome. Today, I'm going to do a movie recap regarding a 2017 science fiction, action film, entitled Ghost in the Shell. Warning. Spoilers ahead. I hope you enjoy the movie recap. In the near future, humans have become enhanced with cybernetic upgrades. Honka Robotics Corporation is the top company in this type of technology, and is on the verge of developing a new kind of cyborg that uses a human brain to function. A woman named Mira Killian, played by Scarlett Johansson, is being taken into Honka after an accident. Her brain is placed into the body of a cyborg, with greater strength and agility. Once the process is complete, her designer, Dr. Ulit, played by Juliette Binoche, speaks to Honka Robotics CEO, Cutter, played by Peter Ferdinando. Cutter wants to place Mira in Section 9, an anti-terrorism division, but Ulit feels she is not ready for something like that. 1 year later, Mira is now known as the Major. She is on the roof of a building, listening in on a meeting between Honka representative, Dr. Osmond, and an African ambassador. The Major receives her orders from Section 9 Chief, Daisuke Aramaki, played by Takeshi Kitano, and works alongside Bato, played by Pilu Absik. In the conference, several geisha bots start to attack the people in the room, leading the Major to spring into action, against Aramaki's orders. She goes invisible and jumps off the roof, before swinging into the room, and she starts shooting the geisha bots. One of the geisha bots hacks into Dr. Osmond's neck, and kills him before the Major gets to it. The geisha bot says cooperate with Honka Robotics and be destroyed. The Major shoots her in the head. The Section 9 team meets with Aramaki, to discuss the attack. They learn that the geisha bots were hacked from a mysterious source, also uttering the same phrase that the geisha bot said to the Major. The rest of the team leaves, but Aramaki talks to the Major about her move, by jumping into the room. Aramaki informs her that she still has her ghost, her soul, within her shell, which is her cyborg body. The Major meets with Dr. Ulit frequently, to repair her body when it has been damaged. The Major has trouble remembering her past, only seeing brief glimpses and flashes. Ulit dismisses her hallucinations as glitches, but she is shown to care for the Major. The Major and Bato are driving around the city. She mentions what little memory she has of her past, which involves her family dying getting to the country. On the road, the Major sees a hallucination of a burning hut. The Major and Bato meet with Dr. Dalan, with the geisha bot body. The Major deep dives into the geisha bot's AI, to try and get more answers on the hacker. The Major finds herself walking through a club, with distorted images. She is grabbed by the entity, forcing Bato to pull her out of the connection. The Major says she knows where to find the hacker. The Major and Bato go to a Yakuza nightclub. The Major is pulled into a room by two men, who force her to dance, while she is handcuffed to a pole and is zapped by a cattle prod. The room also blocks a signal for her, to communicate with Bato. The Major then starts fighting the men in the room, kicking one out of the room, and leading to a shootout that Bato engages in. He and the Major kill a number of goons, before they head off to find the hacker. They run toward a room, that is really a trap. A bomb goes off, that damages the Major's body, and blinds Bato. Bato receives cybernetic eyes to replace his damaged ones, while the Major's body is repaired. Meanwhile, Cutter meets with Aramaki with anger, over the Major doing the deep dive. Aramaki warns Cutter who he is threatening, since Aramaki answers to the Prime Minister, not Honka. The hacker finds Dr. Dalan, and rips her eyes out, before killing her. The Section 9 team finds her body, and the Major pulls a drive out of Dalan's hand, which contains names of other Honka associates, including Ulit. They figure that she is the hacker's next target. The hacker controls two sanitation workers, to ram their truck into Ulit's car. She survives, but the men step outside, and try to shoot her. The Major and her partners arrive in time, to shoot back at the men. She chases after one man, Lee, as he runs by a body of water. The Major fights him while invisible, until Bato shows up and stops her. Lee is interrogated, after the hacker's connection is severed. He informs Section 9 that he was on his way to pick up his daughter. The Major shows him a photo, of what he sees as his daughter, but is really a picture of himself. They determine that the hacker placed fake memories in Lee's head. The hacker, whose name is learned to be Q's, then speaks through Lee, to threaten Section 9, before making Lee jump to hang himself, with the cable around his neck. Section 9 member Togusa, played by Chin Han, traces the hacker's signal, to a hidden location. The Major finds Q's, as he is connected to a network, with other humanoid cyborg bodies. Q's reveals that he was a test subject of Honka's but considered a failure and a freak on account of his deformed outcome. The Major sees a tattoo on his chest, of the burning hut like in her hallucination. Q says that, Hanka took control over their lives instead of saving them. The Major confronts Ulit over the revelation. Ulit says that, there were 98 failed experiments before the Major became the first successful one. The Major appears angry, even as Ulit tries to defend her position. Cutter orders Ulit to terminate the Major, on account of her being a liability. As the Major undergoes the process, Ulit instead gives her an address, so she can find answers for herself. Ulit allows the Major to escape, so Cutter shoots, and kills Ulit in revenge. Cutter reports to Aramaki that, the Major killed Ulit and that she must be terminated. The Major follows the address, to what turns out to be her old home. Her mother is there, having believed that, her daughter ran away and was killed. The Major's real name was, Motoko Kusanagi. Her mother does sense a familiar look in the Major's eyes, when she looks at her. As she leaves, the Major gets in contact with Aramaki, who informs her that Ulit is dead, and that Cutter says she killed her, though they both know the truth. They allow Cutter to eavesdrop on their conversation, as they plan their next move. Cutter sends his men to kill Section 9 members, but Bato, Togusa, and Aramaki, all survive and kill their attackers. The Major meets with Q's at a hideout, which resembles the burning hut. They learn that Q's real name was Hideo. And they were originally against augmentations with humans, and cyborgs. Cutter sends a spider tank, to kill the Major and Q's. However, the spider tank hits Q's, and severely damages him. The Major leaps onto the back of the spider tank, and tries to rip its back open. She uses all her strength, causing her arm to rip off, as she destroys the spider tank. Q's offers to merge his ghost with her, but she refuses, and he fades out. One of Cutter's snipers rides in on a chopper, and kills Q's. Aramaki sends his own man, to take down the sniper to save the Major. Bato recovers the Major, who is still alive. Aramaki then corners Cutter, after having spoken to the Prime Minister. Cutter is charged with Ulit's murder, and crimes against the state. Aramaki contacts the Major, and gets her consent to execute Cutter. He shoots Cutter 3 times, as he falls into his own pool. The movie ends as the Major visits her own grave with her mother, who now knows her daughter is still with her. The Major's voiceover states that, she knows there will be more like her, but she knows her enhancements do not define her. She then returns to work with Section 9, and leaps off a building to her next mission. I hope you enjoy another episode of our movie recap. Until next time.